Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in the Buzz, with violence plaguing the Providence nightclub scene, officials and some club owners are now teaming up. They're going to try and make it safer for people to go out and have a good time in Providence. 3 popular dance clubs, the Coliseum, Ultra, and Roxy, have agreed to stagger their closing times now, so everyone isn't spilling out into the streets right at the exact same time. Take a look at what some nightclub owners had to say about the change.
It causes about half the people to leave around 2, and then the other half of the people leave the city around 2:30. It stops traffic congestion.
I think this is going to fire up a lot of people, and the people who aren't doing the right jobs, the few of them who aren't, are going to be looked upon now and pointed out by the rest of us, because I'm getting a little tired of them ruining it for everyone else.
He's fired up. Now, some of the clubs, like the Coliseum, also say they're going to stop participating with party buses that have been connected to some of that recent violence. No word yet on when the change will go into effect. Good idea, bad idea? What do you think?
Well, on the surface, I think it's a great idea in theory.
Yeah.
But here's what's going to happen. Okay, which club is going to be allowed to stay open the latest? Because you know how it is when you're in that environment, you're out partying with your friends, you're always looking at your watch, wondering when the day's going to end or the last bar is going to close. And then say Ultra, is that one of the names of the clubs?
Yes.
Okay. Say they, that's so bad.
Is that what we're talking about? Is that one of the names of those clubs?
That's right. So they say they get to close at 2.
Yeah.
And level 2?
No, level 2 is not on the list. Coliseum.
Coliseum has to close at 1:30.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Roxy.
Roxy has to close at 1.
Right.
If I own the Roxy, I'm going to be ticked because
you know what?
Here's why. All those kids are going to say, which club's open the latest this night? And they're all going to go
That's
there.
the one we're going to.
Exactly, right? Right? You're in the mix.
I have a feeling they're going to try to come up with a fair way to do it. There's got to be a fair way to do it. They'll rotate so that everybody, you know. But then somebody like, oh, well, the night I closed at 1, it was pouring rain, or, you know, it's winter time, and I get less people. You know, it's never going to be 100% fair, I suppose. However, I'm going to say this. From being the weekend morning anchor for years here, every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning, we would lead our newscast. It felt like almost every weekend with violence erupts outside of another Providence City nightclub. So something has got to be done, because it was like it's a repeat pattern. It's not every single weekend, but enough to where you're like, I remember waking up and, you know, reading the newscast going, again?
Right.
Again? You know?
Some of the things I just think are going to be hard to control. How can you stop a party bus from going to Providence and going to your club in particular? I don't see how they can ever really stop that. I mean, a party bus can park 20 yards away, and now all those people can walk into your club, and just because the party bus is not going to your actual establishment, then I don't know. And the whole traffic, the foot traffic thing, I agree with that part. You know, it gets congested, it gets crazy when all those clubs let out at the same time. You're trying to find a cab, you're trying to find your car, you're trying to find your friends for that matter. Or sometimes you're in the hustle and bustle of everything. People get lost, your car gets lost, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that will help transportation-wise, but like Patrick said, it's going to get to the point where, you know, kids are going to say, you're open till 2, we're going to that one, and now that one's going to be packed.
But you know what it might do, too? It might have other clubs that aren't open later come up with these, you know, great drink specials that offer you to be able to drink more in a less amount of time to make up the money that they're going to lose and not being able to stay open as late as the other clubs.
So it's kind of like not a great idea, you think?
I don't know. I'd like to see how it plays. I'd like to see the rotation about who gets to stay open late one weekend and the next weekend it's
I think it's a good first step, though, because they really, I mean, you heard that fired up club owner. Something's got to be done, because there are people who aren't playing by the rules, and I don't see those people on the list. I think that's part of the problem. But anyway, let's head over to Courtney, see what people are saying online this morning about this change.
At this point, I haven't heard from anyone who goes to the clubs at this point, so we would love to hear from you and hear what you're seeing out there when you're in the clubs on the weekend. So let's hear from some of the live bloggers that are on foxprovidence.com right now. And JB said, staggered closing may be worth the try, but how do they prevent the crowd from moving to clubs that are still open? And Jean said here, I will say that party buses are not a good idea. Last time I drove a party bus, they were so drunk they totally trashed the bus and were rude and obnoxious to me. And she said they left no tip. Here is the poll here right underneath the live blog. Do you think this idea will make Providence safer? A, yes, it'll control crowds in the city. B, no, people will get rowdy regardless. Or C, maybe it's worth a try. We have about 13 comments so far on our homepage on Facebook. Ben DeCastro said, that just means most people will choose to go to the club that's open the latest so they can party longer into the night. And Daniel Sadler says, the timing is perfect with the city's student population going home for the summer. And Claire Kearney says, better yet, stop serving alcohol at 11 p.m. and watch how fast this behavior stops. So if you do want to weigh in, you can do so on Facebook, the live blog, definitely the poll, so we can share those poll results at the end of the show.